So the first question is, which goods and services have been affected by Brexit? So we're talking, first we'll talk about goods and then services second. And it's mainly about animal and animal products, things like deliveries. Even, things like chocolate and other products have been difficult to export for many companies. No, I did a story. It's not come out yet at the time of recording this podcast, but should be out as soon as the podcast comes out, which is chocolate has been a real nightmare to export. With one guy, he exported he makes bespoke really weird chocolate, and he exported them on the January 4th to France, and they only just came back to the exporter a few days ago.
It's a very long way.
So where have they been for 3 months? I don't understand.
In the border.
Yeah, Georgia, just up your volume just slightly, please, if you can.
Yeah, sure. No, I just said it, most probably at the border.
Yeah, at the border, yeah, and in transit for 3 months, So if you're a person buying products from the UK and you live in the EU, it sounds like you're having a nightmare time. And I've done a video on it previously where we talked about the sort of 26 steps that exporters of meat have to go through. Great work from The Guardian, who've listed it out, where you talk about export health certificates that you need vet checks, you need loads of certificates, you need like a Kent access permit, you need to get your products checked on the other side of the border by French you get French SPS checks, like French vets, essentially, check everything and make sure everything's okay. And it sounds like a real nightmare. And the question I guess I want to ask you is, why is this happening? I thought there were going to be no non-tariff barriers, and this sounds like a barrier, Georgia. I don't know.
First of all, we know that European Union, UK, Brexit, basically, United Kingdom is not anymore part of the European market itself.
Single market.
Yes. So it means that, in the agreement they said that most of the products and most of the goods, services will be imported with no cost or no
tariffs.
No tariffs on it, yes. But again, even if there is no tariff, there is no quota, the products need to have the regulations, follow the particular regulations or policies of each independent country. So if before there was free movement, now UK has to follow each European Union's country standards to be able to import there, and vice versa.
But Georgia, don't they know who we are? We're the UK, we're not some lesser country. We're the 6th biggest economy, Georgia. There's only 5 other economies above us. Surely the EU should make exceptions for us. We have Cadbury's, man.
But one of those economies is Germany, which is in European Union. But
France,
yes,
France as well.
France, okay.
Yeah. France are there.
Yeah.
I think they're above us, right? In the.
They were about to overtake UK. I'm not sure.
Yeah, France, you suck. You couldn't do it. You suck. Boo. Boo, France. Boo. No, I'm messing. It's probably down to COVID because they're in a third lockdown now, I think.
Yeah, in the third lockdown.
Good luck, France.
The whole Europe. But yes, the issue is that there is no tariffs, there is no quota, there is no tax on it. But they have to follow, UK has to follow each individual country regulations, policies, rules when it comes to importing and things in there. And of course, each European country has now to follow UK standards when they want to sell their products in here.
I mean, wouldn't it be easier if we just had, the same standard, so we didn't have to do all this paperwork? Would that not be easier? And, we trusted each other, when it comes to regulations. Would that system not have been easier? Have they come up with the term for it? Single policy, single, well, you buy stuff from the shops or the market. Single market. Anyone come up with that yet? You heard anything like that?
I've heard it. It was, forget. It's in the past now. But yes, as you said, some of the goods or services, like, I don't know, if it's something not grocery, let's say. It's okay. It can stay in a box for 4 more days. But when you're talking about meat, when you're talking about agricultural goods,
certain agricultural goods, yeah.
Yes, it's how do you call them? Poultry, in a way. They expire very.
Poultry is chicken. Yeah.
That's why exports of food and livestock went down by like 63%.
Oh, it was insanity.
Fish.
It was crazy numbers. Like, I think salmon went down by like 90%, and
fish was 83% in total.
It was a massacre.
Yeah, so it's pretty. I can't say bad, but the consequences are here, and the overall exports to Europe decreased by 5 billion. The imports by 28. So you see the data.
Wait. 28 million? The imports fallen 28 million?
28%, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, man, because you said 5 billion and then 28, and I was like, wait, no, there's no way.
No, 28%.
28% have fallen. Imports, right? And the thing is, we haven't actually started import checks. That's our second kind of topic on this bit. But if we go back to talking about goods, no one told us it was going to be like this, right? We were told no non-tariff barriers, so that means we wouldn't have had customs checks and we wouldn't have had vet checks. But this is from Boris Johnson, the same man who said there will be no border in the Irish Sea. So maybe this man can't be trusted.
I don't know what to say in that case. I mean, the Brexit started not just with him, it was before.
Wait, Georgia, hang on. I'm just getting something away now. Like, this man is Prime Minister. This man has lied.
Yeah.
Wait, what? When did this happen? We let a man in who's consistently lied, and then we believed him about non-tariff barriers. And what? He told us this, and no one prepared, and things went badly. What? Am I hearing this right, Georgia? Am I hearing this?
You're right, but... in a way, where are the NHS money, you can ask at the same time.
Have we told everyone else? We need to alert the townspeople. We've been lied to. We were had.
Yes.
People need to learn this.
Oh, God, but,
I'm sorry. I'm doing a bit. I'm sorry. No, it's good. That's
the goods and services, as you said, especially about food.
Services might be worse, to be honest. I mean, if we keep focusing on goods and then services, I think, because there's a lot you're going to have to explain about services. Because goods I have an okay knowledge of, because I've researched it a fair bit for other videos, and basically there's a ton of checks and it costs a lot of money. I read that the Scottish fishermen, they have to pay about £500 per lorry, or especially if you have a mix of different kinds of fish. Some of them are 36 pieces of paperwork, some 72. Yes. I think they have to get some bits translated into French. Like, it's madness.
That's again something, for example, when I came to UK, I had to translate some paperwork, and also they had to be approved by, we called something like notarium, which is an official body, governmental body that approves the translation. So it's a lot of money on the top, definitely.
Why can't these French customs learn English, huh?
I think French is a bit more spoken in UK than English, to be honest.
What?
Because of more countries that speak French.
Oh, in Europe, you mean?
Yeah, in European Union.
Oh, that's actually surprising, because when I went to Amsterdam and to Berlin, everyone pretty much spoke English there, so...
Yes, but I mean as first language. You've got Belgium, you've got Switzerland, France itself, Luxembourg, so these are... in some of these countries, French is a dominating language.
Yeah.
But in terms of services, I would say that financial side is what we can talk about, because until now London was known as the capital of the European Union in terms of financial services, loans,
stocks, all that stuff,
exchange stock, insurances,
money, anything to do with money, basically anything that's not tangible. Like, you can't physically pick it up as a service, right?
No, and surprisingly, I was reading one of the news articles on The Guardian, and it said that in the first day of this year, businesses from European Union transferred just in one day around 5.5 billion pounds to New York Stock Exchange and to their reserves. It's just of the uncertainty. People don't know what to expect.
The Big Apple just got bigger. I've read recently that the UK and the EU have secured a memorandum of understanding on financial services, but no progress on equivalence. And equivalency is what we need, right? That's what New York have with the EU, correct?
Yes, yes.
And so sorry, carry on.
No. You say it.
How important is equivalency for the UK's financial industry?
To be honest, I think it would be really good because in that way, the money are not going outside of the country. You know that in economics, the basic equation of GDP says that investment is actually a big part of GDP. So try to imagine if all this money are going away. I think in stocks, in reserves, European Union countries have around a few trillion pounds holding in London financial services. So imagine if these amounts are going now. Instead of London, people are forecasting that Frankfurt and Paris are more likely to become economic capitals for European Union. So imagine if this money is going there. It will definitely affect the UK. So there should be at least a regulation, or more than a regulation, like warranty for European Union businesses and maybe external businesses, that their money will be held safely in UK. There will be no tax or something like that, and it will ensure that this money will not go outside of the country. That's in a way following Irish example, I think, where if you invest in the country, there is no tax on that, something like that.
And what would happen if the UK doesn't get equivalency with the EU? What would happen in that situation?
That would be a big hit for the financial services, because many people will firstly lose jobs. Secondly, lots of the companies will move, as I said, Paris, Frankfurt, New York, you've got Singapore, Shanghai. That is another big impact. And another thing that might lead is actually the human side, the social side, that will lead to brain drain of United Kingdom, where many people that have high knowledge about this industry, about these services, will just migrate to places where they have access to these jobs. So this will create migration from UK of high-skilled staff.
So what I've read is that the UK has a memorandum of understanding, which is just about agreeing to cooperation when it comes to financial regulations. It doesn't mean a lot. It's called a talk shop. So they're just going to talk to each other and things like that.
I saw it with President Ursula von der Leyen. I think it was discussed with her.
So it says that the Chancellor of the UK and the EU's Commissioner for Financial Services will meet twice a year, but this doesn't guarantee equivalence, which will be the issue because New York has equivalency, the UK does not. And so what does that mean for UK services specifically? So say I was, an insurance company and I want to sell my insurance services to, say, a company in France. Would I be able to do that without equivalency?
You would be able to do that, but they will apply some certain rules.
Okay.
And sometimes it can actually lead to devaluation. Or if, let's say, your money or the worth of your company, of your services is worth in pounds, just simple exchange rate when you want to sell it to a French company. Yes, euro is a bit weaker than pound, but there would be transaction costs.
There would be a lot of fees.
Yes. And of course tax that you'd have to pay, either for your own government or your government, and in the example you brought, the French government.
So what I've also read from the Financial Times, and a lot of it I didn't understand, or bits of it I didn't understand because it's very technical. It's not written for people like me, it's written more for people like you who actually know what's going on in the world. And so what it said was the Governor of the Bank of England was worried about more UK sort of services going to the EU, financial services, and that the EU have said that you have to have more than just a registry to operate operate within the EU if you're a UK-based company, as in you need to have maybe something physical there, like an office space and a decent amount of capital to do this sort of stuff, set up a financial subsidiary within the EU, which I thought made sense. He said, I think the phrase was, you have to have more than a brass plate, which means that more than just a name on like an office, like you need a real foothold within the country, or within the EU, sorry, which I found quite interesting. It did talk about some other stuff which I have no idea about, but I guess what it does show you is that for UK financial services to operate within the EU, that they would need a subsidiary within the EU, and that it would have to be more than just an office plate. They would have to have staff or whatever in order to operate within the EU. Does that sound about right?
Yes, in a way, it's to give security. You are keeping your money in that country, but you should give something to that country as well. In that case, you just said it, give employment to locals.
So what I've read is that the financial industry employs 3% of the UK's workforce, 1.1 million workers, and pays 10% of taxes, which, in my opinion, they should be paying a lot more. However, if anything does happen with the financial services and they start moving to New York or the EU, how damaging could that be for the UK's economy, especially in the COVID era where we've been hit pretty hard?
To be honest, we know that people that earn most pay most of the tax. So 10% is a pretty big amount if you think from the overall tax that is paid.
Especially since it's 3% of the workforce, right? Paying 10% of the taxes, and obviously they should there are massive loopholes and tax avoidance and other things like that. So it should be far higher. However, if we did stop these loopholes, their tax bill would be far higher, and they would have far more leverage over the UK, right? When it comes to anything, when it comes to them wanting anything from the UK government. So maybe we should be in part slightly grateful that it's not higher, purely because they would have more leverage, right?
Definitely, and as you said, they will go away. That again, brain drain, less tax paid. The country would have, I know it's one of the later questions, but they would have to retrain their staff in order to, let's say, if not all the population migrates to find the job in their industry, they can get a sort of job. And it would have to be something very unique, very special, considering that UK was hit last April with a decrease in GDP by 20%. The country, the tax really needs to be high in order to cover that. And that's not just the tax, that money can be restored, recovered in other ways, but tax is a very big and important way. I'm not for contractionary policies myself when it comes to economics with higher tax and less spending.
Austerity, right? That's something that
that's
Cameron
austerity,
yeah.
Yes, but there should be a plan in case, if financial services are not going. As you mentioned, with Memorandum of Understanding, there is nothing is yet considered, and I think that UK and EU still have until June or March 2022 to finalize their transitional period for the financial services.
Yeah, so, but we got that donor Andrew Bailey who he seems to be causing issues. So So I don't know how kind of ready the EU will be, considering that we've sent 2 fire starters to the EU in Lord Frost, or as I like to call him, the Iceman, and Andrew Bailey. So I'm not sure how kind of nice the EU will be about it, especially since the EU have benefited from a lot of financial kind of services and check clearing and all this stuff moving back to the EU. I think they've benefited greatly from that. So perhaps the EU can see it as not in their best interest to give the UK equivalency, because financial services will have to relocate into the EU or into New York, which further weakens the UK.
We can, and it can make the current 27 countries of EU stronger if you look into the global financial market, where other countries apart from UK will be given that glamour, we can say, of becoming the financial capitals.
I mean, it could be Amsterdam. Realistically, they're a low tax country as well. Their English is very good over there.
Yes, and they're near the seaside.
Sorry, not a country, obviously. Amsterdam's a city. But Holland, they have many different names, Holland and stuff. So the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
So yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm not a complete idiot. So in terms of services, you're saying that without equivalency, we're in real trouble.
Yes, not real trouble, but if it does not happen, then UK really needs to focus on retraining the staff into a other sort of service, high-skilled labor to fulfill that gap that would be made by the financial services.
The issue is, though, without having equivalency in services, it means that even UK architects are looking at being shut out of the EU. And although someone said that's a good thing because some buildings in London look very ugly, even if we did have, the best architects or the best whatever service, it still means that we might be shut out of the EU, which, it doesn't matter how good you are in that case, that if you're shut out of a market, your chances of employment are going to be lower, if that makes sense.
Yes, but I don't think they already signed definitely an agreement where the education is equivalent. So they're, in a way, EU and UK have no right to not hire someone with UK education or European Union education.
All right. So if we just recap quickly on the main things we've talked about in this sort of a section, which is that the UK goods have been hit really hard. The UK, I was meant to mention, I forgot to, has pushed back import checks on EU products to January 2022, which means that we haven't actually seen the full scale of damage from Brexit, because we're only seeing damage with export stuff we're basically getting rid of. But when imports start getting hit, that's when we might see certain products not appearing on the shelves, right?
Yeah. Yes.
No, I went to Tesco or the shops today, and I noticed even the Netherlands can grow bell peppers, and I was like, wait, what? So I don't know if the UK could do that, but it also means that getting stuff out of season might be more difficult as well, as the longer it stays in transit, the more chance of the the fruit or vegetable dying, or even meat dying. So that's obviously not a good situation to be in, right?
No, but again, that's due to the first of all many countries are growing their own plants due to technology, due to how do you call the place where you can grow the plants even throughout the winter time? The
I have no idea.
Artificial condition.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's cold outside, it's like a glass cupboard, and you can
greenhouse.
grow plants. Yes, a greenhouse. Sorry.
All right, my mum wants a greenhouse really badly. So yeah, I did notice they were doing that in certain countries where the climate's really harsh. Couldn't tell you which ones. But
Amsterdam is actually up in the list there.
Ah, that's interesting. So yeah, just to quickly recap, goods, we're talking about animal products or certain plant products, have been hit massively by delays, and also the fact that you can get hit with a customs bill even when you import products, right? From the UK, if you're going to the EU, where you could get a customs bill for whatever product you've imported, which is really frustrating because it's happened to me before when I imported something from somewhere else. They charged me like 15 quid, and I was like, I hate you so much right now.
That's about deliveries, if before we had free movement, now to deliver something you would kind of have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it can still happen if you import stuff from the UK if you import stuff from the UK to the EU. If you're an individual or a business, you can still get hit with a customs cost as well, which is a major pain because you don't expect it. So we've talked about that. When it comes to services, without equivalency, we're in trouble, right?
In a way.
Georgia, you're too nice. They pay it's 10% of the country's tax bill, Georgia. I know I'm loading it up, but come on, man.
It is. It needs a plan then in that case.
We don't do plans in this country, Georgia. I mean, look at the pandemic.
That's called we go with the flow.
That's called, yo, it's last minute. My essay is due in 6 hours. I need to get a move on. Or I haven't got started my dissertation and it's due in a week. That's the kind of planning we do in this country.
Yes. Not too good.
It's the daddy will bail me out of this situation kind of planning. that's the rich
But
kid.
it happens.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll wrap up the segment with that of saying that, not good. Believe me, not good. Brexit has not been great.